Thank you. The chair now recognizes Ms. Brown from Ohio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Dodaro, for joining us today. I appreciate us holding this important hearing to review the Government Accountability Office biannual high-risk list. The high-risk list is an important tool for the government to responsibly manage trillions of dollars of spending. And if we're honest, when the Biden administration came into office, there were certainly opportunities for improved oversight of past federal spending. With the Trump administration's $2 trillion tax giveaway to the wealthy and giant corporations, Republicans' actions had a detrimental impact on the federal deficit. In fact, President Biden inherited a historically high deficit. As always, Democrats came in and started righting the ship. For example, take the investment in our tax enforcement made possible by the Inflation Reduction Act. That provision alone means billions of dollars back in the pockets of American people by having the wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Unfortunately, my friends on the other side of the aisle are proposing legislation to directly undo all of that good work. Their Default on America Act is part of the backwards catastrophic Republican plan. According to Moody's Analytics, the Republican budget would, quote, meaningfully increase the likelihood of a recession and result in 780,000 fewer jobs by the end of 2024, end quote. My colleagues on the other side of the aisle are willing to put our country on the brink of recession to make sure that the top 1% can get away with contributing half or a third of what a school teacher or firefighter pays in taxes. Does that make sense to anyone here? The Republicans' proposal slashes non-defense discretionary funding by 22%. That would mean cuts of more than 20% from everything like veterans' medical care to rail safety inspections and more. The Default on America Act would also threaten the strength of our federal workforce and the ability of federal agencies to fill those workforce vacancies. So, Mr. Dodaro, how would the inability to fill critical workforce positions at federal agencies contribute to an increase in high-risk programs?
Well, 22 of the 37 areas on the high-risk list, 22 of the 37 are on there in part because they already have critical skill gaps and shortages. So the extent to which those continue or exacerbated would prevent them from solving fully and gaining the capacity that they need to be able to address those issues.
Thank you for that. Now, for the record, how much in savings is returned to the economy for every dollar spent at the GAO?
In the last 5 years, it's averaged $145.
Thank you. Frankly, I find it alarming that workforce and skills gaps, which would be significantly worsened by the default on our debt plan, could have such a harmful impact on the high-risk programs that the Biden administration is working diligently to address. According to the top experts, the Republicans plan to hold the full faith and credit of the United States hostage in order to force huge, unnecessary, and arbitrary cuts would potentially put the country on the brink of a recession, cost millions of jobs, and hurt us all. Meanwhile, House Democrats favor protecting public safety and improving public health, lowering costs for families and students, and supporting seniors and veterans. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.